And I finally got to a point, I was like, okay, by Friday, if I haven't had my period, I'm going to take a test. I even had a friend go with me to Target, and she walked in to get the pregnancy test for me. I couldn't even convince myself to do that. We went to her house. I took the pregnancy test, and in that moment, when you see the two lines on a pregnancy test, and it's not excitement, and it's devastation and a lot of fear and disappointment, no one can prepare you for that moment. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was 17 years old. What is a 17-year-old supposed to feel in that moment? You don't ever think it's going to happen to you. It's never supposed to be you. It was actually a really sweet season before finding out I was pregnant. I was student body president. I was involved in a leadership mentorship program. Being 17 years old, you don't have too many cares in the world. I was supposed to do big things, graduate in a few months. It's never supposed to be you. And I immediately drove to the birth father's house to tell him. I asked him to come outside, and I remember him getting into the car, and I was speechless. And I don't even remember what he said or if he even said anything. I just know he embraced me. The birth father and I told my parents together, and as soon as we told my parents, he broke down. And their immediate response was to embrace him and hold him and tell us how much they loved us. Probably one of the most important parts that came from that conversation was when my mom talked about her adoption story. My mom is also a birth mother, and she was 21 when she was pregnant and placed my half-sister for adoption. It was an open adoption, and we are still very, very close to her family. And I think at that point, the birth father was open to the idea of adoption because of the openness aspect that could be a choice of ours. I really thought adoption would be best, but we both promised each other we would consider all options. And it was very important to me that he was just as part of the decision as I was. We kept it secret. I didn't tell anyone else until after I graduated from high school. So I was 5 months pregnant at my senior graduation, giving a speech as student body president, and no one had any idea that I was 5 months pregnant. I think right before graduation or right after is when we started looking at adoption agencies. And we come across Gladney's website. So we call Gladney, and an options counselor comes out who I adored. I remember being devastated that she wasn't going to be the person I kept in contact with. Moving forward, I had my caseworker. To have her as my advocate was a huge blessing, and I can't thank her enough. I mean, to prepare you for moments like, do you want to hold your child? Who do you want in the room? Who do you want to be there? We finally started the process of choosing parents. I just remember thinking, well, what is it that I can't provide? Why am I placing her for adoption? I finally had narrowed it down to a few couples. Luckily, my family was helping, my mom and sisters, and they pointed a few things out about a certain book. The first word of their book was you. And it was reiterated once again later in the book where they said, God was first, others are second, and we are third. That really resonated, and so I just needed my family to point that out for me to know, I think this is the family. After deciding that this was the couple for us, we met them. We just clicked and connected, and the vulnerability and honesty was so transparent. In a moment where you have this unplanned pregnancy and you have no idea what's gonna happen, you have no idea what's in store, I felt like I had some control. And it was so empowering to feel that I finally had a say in this story. And I was starting to direct it. Going into labor is, I think, scary and exciting for everyone. I mean, it's unique, I would say, to birth parents and birth mothers. We decided for those 48 hours before signing away our rights that we wanted to be her parents. In most situations, a mother feels that bond for 9 months. And usually the father just doesn't know or feel it until the baby's born. Understandably, he started to question our decision because he wanted to raise her just as I did. I wanted to respect his desires as well, and so we walked through the scenario. Okay, so what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? We don't have a car seat. That's always the first thing you think of, right? After a hospital, we don't have a car seat. I'm not going to A&M because we're gonna raise this baby. And you have a scholarship. You need to be playing football at your school. You need to be doing what you're doing. How are we gonna do this? I need to get a job. And I just remember asking, do you think that's what's best for her? And he said no. And he goes, I just love her so much. All I could say back was, I know, me too. But it was that answer of I love her so much that we knew adoption was the right choice for our daughter. After the 48 hours, we signed away our rights. And then shortly after that, we had placement where the adoptive parents came to the hospital and we exchanged gifts and letters. And once again, many tears, boogers, and smiles and laughter. I allowed myself just to cry one more time while I held her for the last time as her mom and sang her lullaby and rocked her in my arms. We gave her final hugs and we watched them leave the hospital room. If it weren't for the open adoption, I wouldn't have been graced with the opportunities I thought I signed away when I signed away my rights. I got to see her first step. She was walking from me to her mom when she took her first step, and that is a moment I would have never thought I deserved or would have received if it weren't for the openness of the adoption. As my daughter's mom put it, open adoption gave me the opportunity to see my plan work. And there is no greater gift a birth mother can receive than see her daughter or son live the life that I knew I couldn't have provided. I couldn't be more thrilled to share my story of adoption. It doesn't have to be this negative, heavy thing, that it can be an opportunity to inform and educate people. I'm proud of her and I'm proud of my decision. And I hope that if you are experiencing an unplanned pregnancy, that you would consider adoption, and that your story is, I'm sure, difficult but beautiful, and that you are not alone. There are a lot of us birth mothers out there that want to support you and love on you.